Hey guys, it's Ricardo from Fireside Weekenders, and today's install is the Firestone Coil Rite, so make sure to stick around. Why are we installing this coil rite system? Well, if you own a Nissan Pathfinder, you know that the suspension is very soft. So it doesn't matter how much weight you put in the back of this thing, it squats usually instantly. Whether you're putting in groceries, like we've had like 150 pounds worth of groceries back there in the trunk, and it squats a considerable amount. So this SUV is rated to tow 6,000 pounds, about a 500 ton capacity. So it's definitely able to pull our Salem FSX that we have, but it definitely squats. We have a weight distribution hitch and it probably needs a little bit adjusting, but no matter what, it's always gonna squat. So we decided to go with the Firestone Coil Rite in order to just provide a little bit more support, especially when you're going down the road and you hit the bumps and you get that nice little bounce. Well, when you're carrying a trailer, I personally don't want that bounce. I want a little bit more support so I don't bottom out, I don't drag, it doesn't affect too much of the steering and things like that. So that's where we're gonna go with the Firestone system. We just went over the reasons why we're deciding to do this. Now, some of the reasons that people should consider this is if you don't have a weight distribution system, then this is a little bit of a cheaper alternative to prevent that sag in the back of your vehicle. Now, preventing the sag is not just for looks purposes. It has a lot to do with safety. Your tires, your brakes are all gonna wear a little bit different if you have that sag in the back. You're not gonna be able to stop as well. Steering is going to be affected. A lot of safety reasons why you should probably consider these if you're not considering a weight distribution. And if you're like us, you may want to consider both of them. Let's unbox it and see what we got and put it on. So this is pretty much almost kind of like a manual airbag system. So basically what we'll do is we'll take this hose connected to this nipple right here, and then we'll be able to pump air in and out manually. So when you're not towing anything, you can let the air out of it so you get your normal suspension back. And then when you have your trailer, you fill this up with air. You can do it any way, whether it's a bike pump, I have an air tank system, whatever the case is, you can use it to pretty much fill this up. So if you can see, this is pretty much like a bicycle pump or a bicycle stem. And the way that you put these in is basically you slip them in. I'm gonna crush these down as best as possible, and then we're gonna slip them in right in between the springs. You have two options for this. Number one, you can run it so each individual airbag has its own fill point. So if for some reason there's more weight on one side of the vehicle, you can raise it up a little bit more or have uneven air pressure on each side. They also sell an accessory, which is a little T like this. This is sold separately, just this piece. And what this is going to allow me to do is to run both air hoses back into this location, and then I only have one filling point that I have to worry about. So that means that they'll both fill up at the same time, and I don't really have to worry about trying to adjust it and making sure that they're both at the same PSI. They should be at the same PSI once I'm done. What we're gonna need is a hose cutter, and the other thing that we're gonna need is a long, hard, and blunt object. Basically what this is gonna be used for is for you to stick it in through the springs and help the bags push up all the way. The first thing that we're gonna do is essentially get this inside of your springs. The way that we're gonna do that is by basically removing the air from this and sucking it down, putting the cap back on it so the air doesn't escape, and then that'll give us room to slide it in between the springs. They usually give you a little tool to get the stem off of this and be able to unscrew this. I have my own from my own kit, and I like it a little bit better. You get a better grab, so I'm just using this. Alright, so we got the valve off of it. Now we can basically just roll it up. Get as much air as possible from there. Then we'll put that back in. Alright, so this is what it should look like. Then we'll go ahead and do the second one, and we're ready to start putting it in. Alright, so what we're basically going to do is slide it in right through here and have it sit down. When we install it, you want to make sure that this end is on the bottom, at least for our vehicle. I've seen some vehicles where you actually do it from the top, but in our case, it's actually towards the bottom. So we're just going to slide it in right through here. Now, these are constructed of an elastic polyurethane construction, so they're pretty heavy duty. They are rated at a minimum of 500 pounds and a maximum of 1,000 pounds. You can fill them up at a minimum of 5 psi to 35 psi per airbag. Now that we have it pretty much in there as best as possible, we're going to try to let the air in. Alright, so it looks like putting a little bit of air in there worked. I had most of the stuff in there already. Actually, I had all of it in there. It was just hard to move around because the sides were kind of really hard and pinched. So now it's pretty nicely in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side and then get the hose connected. You know what? I'm going to try to put a little air in it like I did last time and see what happens. Alright, so the trick to this is put it in there so most of it is in, and then when you have the sides, the hard side sticking out, put a little bit of air in it, not too much, and make sure your hands are free and clear. It takes the shape that it's supposed to, and then you can move it around a little bit better. Alright, and as you can see, right here is the valve stem. So now all we're going to do is grab the hose and thread it on there, and then we'll figure out how we're going to route the hose. So I've connected one of them. I'm gonna just dry fit this so I can make sure that I have enough hose. Now they only give you one set of hose, but what you do is just cut it wherever you need it, and then the other side has the fitting for the other part. I have everything pre-ran right now, so what I'm going to end up doing is sliding the hose right through here on the passenger side. The reason why is because I have the muffler right here, and if I put it right on the side, then the muffler is going to get too hot, and I don't want it to compromise the hose. So at least here it has a little bit of protection. I didn't see any real moving parts in here that would get in the way of this, so I'll put it right through there, and then it'll go straight to the top of the chassis. And then I'm going to be putting the T somewhere right around here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Now that I have this cut, I can run it where I want. Here's the T, what it looks like. You basically just push it in. Want to make sure that it snaps in, and then you can't pull it out. Now we'll do the other side. They're both connected now into the T. They won't separate. The kit includes 5 zip ties. There's 6 zip ties. So we're gonna take those and make sure this stays together. They send you a little sleeve to put over these, so if you have chafing points, you can protect yourself, or you can protect the hose itself. This one didn't come with that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off at the T, run it back out, and then put a little bit of black tape on it just for a little bit of added protection. So wherever there's a chafing point, I'm going to put the black tape on it. Now in order to remove these from the T, you can take a small little wrench, put it right over and push down on it, and it should release the hose like that. I'll have a nice direct run from where the other side is. I'll put it right where near the tire so it doesn't obstruct it, and then just go straight right there. I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole right around this area over here so I have a nice, easy, quick connect. Perfect. Alright, that's pretty tight. I think this is going to work out pretty good. We're going to get the spare tire in here. Before I do that, I'm going to check the tire pressure, make sure it's good, and then I'll be able to slide it in, make sure that it's not going to hit any of the tubing that we have in here, and then we should pretty much be wrapped up. We're going to go ahead and check the system out, test it, make sure that everything, all the connections are good, nothing's leaking, get some measurements on the height of the vehicle, and see what kind of changes it's made. Alright, so it looks like we have air leaks. Because I didn't use a specific tube cutting tool, what happened was that the edging was uneven and it was frayed. So when I pushed it into the T, it wasn't creating a nice seal. So I just went in, I cleaned that up with a little razor knife, made it nice and even, and now it's holding pressure and there are no leaks. I went ahead and sprayed all the lines or all the connections with soapy water, and it looks like we are good to go. Thanks for sticking around till the end of this video. Since we installed the Firestone Coil Rite Suspension in our SUV, it's been a game changer. The improved stability and control it provides while towing is great. We liked it so much that when we switched tow vehicles, we installed it in that one as well. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment down below. We'd love to hear about your experiences with this system or any other topics you'd like for us to cover in the future, and we'll see you on our next adventure.